Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Chido and this is Chido Starts Up. If you're joining us again, thank you so much for coming back. And if this is your first time, welcome. I am so glad to have you. Please make sure to press the subscribe button below and join us on this journey. So today I'm actually going to be talking about one of my failed ventures from university. I was one of those people who in uni, I just wanted to try everything. And the failures, although they hurt, they taught me a lot about business, starting things up, and entrepreneurship. So when I got to university and I actually saw that a lot of students were struggling with fitness, I was like, this is a business opportunity. I can literally do this in my sleep. All I need to do is to drop some training programs for people, take them to training with me, and boom, I'm making money. Easy money at that. So what I did is that I roped in my best friend. I told her, I was like, girl, I have a business idea. Let's do this together. And she was quite into fitness too, so it just worked. So we spent all night literally writing down ideas, thinking of names, colors, literally all the stuff that you do when you want to start a business. And I think this was kind of the first part where we went wrong, but I won't say it was completely wrong because it really did get us excited. And the more you have morale and energy, the more that you're willing to make it through some of the difficult parts that come in business, especially during the initial phases. So what we did is that we designed a poster and we stuck it up around our residence. Our residence was an all-female residence. And we're like, you know what? We're going to try get our first customers from res. Again, at least it's easy for us to meet up with them, remind them, go with them to training. Again, easy money. So we put up our posters and we got a lot of people messaging us, being like, this is so cool. Oh my gosh, I really need to be trained by women. I feel safer. I feel excited. Oh my God, this is great. And we're like, guys, we're literally like millionaires. This is gonna happen. But one of the things that we actually hadn't noticed at the time is that sentiment, in as much as it is great and validating, it doesn't mean that much unless it's followed by action. So in as much as we had people being like, this is really cool, I'm going to do it, they actually never ended up doing it. I think we got so many positive affirmations, but we actually didn't get any customers. So what we did, we're like, you know what? All we need to do is to literally get one good customer who's going to really vouch for us with all the other girls, and they're going to make sure that we get our next clients. So we searched who can we actually get? Who should we ask to be our first client and test our program out? Because we know it's good, we know it works, and we really want everyone else to also understand that it works so that we can start making our money. Again, I'm sure you can notice that money was literally the only thing on our minds. So we picked a housecom member. And the reason we picked her is because, one, she was a leader in the house, she was very nice, well respected, and we're like, you know what, surely if she says to people, guys, this thing's really cool, do it, people will follow. So we kind of assumed that she had some sort of influential role over all the other people in the house. And yeah, I think our assumption was a bit wrong. She did have influence, but it wasn't the type of influence we were looking for. Or let me rather say there were other people who had influence that was aligned to our business, to our fitness type of business, more influence over her. So anyway, let's call her Tando for the purposes of this video. So we approached Tando and we're like, hey Tando, we really want to train you. Please come through. Actually, we'll make your first session free so that you can kind of understand how we do things, but really want to train you. And she was like, I'm actually really excited. I've been looking for a trainer. And we're like, perfect fit. She told us that, she's quite happy with her body, but she just wanted to tone up and get a bit more fit. And we're like, perfect, we can do that. Again, I'd been an athlete, my best friend had been training, so we kind of had a really good idea about how to do things. The other great thing is that I had my coach who I was quite close with. So even if I got a bit confused here and there, I could just ask him and he'd assist me. So after getting Tando on board, one of the things that we actually did is that we sent her specific training program. And she replied to us saying, thank you guys, I can't wait to see you for our first training session in a couple days' time. So we were really excited. But one mistake we didn't do is that we actually didn't check whether she read the training program. The reason why this is important is because we were offering a bespoke service. So this service was literally specified to her needs and her desires. When you do that, you have to make sure that the person doing it is actually kind of aware of what they'll be doing and that they're happy with it. Otherwise, it causes problems along the way. but you'll hear more about those as I go along. So the day finally came, and the three of us walked up to the training fields ready for Tando's first training session. We stretched, warmed up, did everything necessary, and then we started the session. I was fine. My best friend was fine. Tando was okay. We asked her, we're like, Tando, how do you feel about your training session? She was like, oh my gosh, my legs are so sore, they feel slimmer already. And we're like, in our minds, we're literally like, this is good, girl, we're doing so well. And we walked back together, talking normally as if, everything was so fine. Tando came back for a second session, and then after that, she started becoming unavailable. She wasn't exactly so ready to meet us at training anymore. And slowly but surely, we actually just decided, we can't keep trying to force her to do something she doesn't want to do, so let's look for new customers. And I think that is just literally when everything went downhill. I mean, just to quickly rush the end of the story, Tando ended up being our only customer. And the business literally died after I think a month. So to recap some really top lessons from this story. Number one, a forced customer will hardly ever be a loyal customer. Yes, if people don't really understand what your product or your service does, you do need to explain it to them, and that's part of sales. But you also need to listen to them and listen to what they want. I'm quite sure that if, we had actually listened to people and understood the needs that they had in terms of fitness and the type of service they wanted, we would have done a bit better. Maybe we would have had more than one customer. But again, a forced customer hardly ever comes back. Because again, the way that you gain your customer is literally your first impression. And if you're doing it by force and maybe making them feel guilty to just support you, then it's really rare that they'll come back. The second lesson that we learned is that if you're offering a bespoke service, then you have to do a lot more work to ensure that your client is satisfied. Let me use an example. If I want a bespoke product or good, and I order a personalized laptop cover, let's say I want a pink laptop cover with my name inscribed in gold. The person who manufactures that, they just make a pink laptop cover and put my name on it. They deliver and I'm happy. That's the end of the transaction. If I want to repeat a transaction, chances are I won't be asking for the same type of laptop cover. Or even if I do so, they already know how to do it and what makes me happy. Most of the time, I'll be asking for a different type of good, which they can produce again in an instant, deliver to me, and I'll be happy. With a bespoke service, it's a bit more complicated. First, you have to understand what exactly the client wants. After you understand that, you have to check with them and make sure that you listened to them or you heard them correctly. Most of the time, you might have listened to them correctly, but preferences change. They can even change overnight. So you might go back to your client and say, listen, this is my fitness program that I've done for you. And they'll be like, oh, I've actually decided I don't really want to tone my arms. I actually want to focus on my abs. And again, you now have to go back and change things. So if you're offering a bespoke service, you actually have to be really kind of careful about how you're doing it and understand your constraints. If you're able to constantly adapt and change things to your client's preferences, by all means, do what you have to do. But if you're unable to do that, then maybe imposing some limits, like you're only allowed to change it 3 times or so, helps. An example of people who do this are graphic designers. When you're getting a logo design, for example, they'll tell you that you can only change your logo a maximum of 3 times. After that, you have to pay additional money. And that is just to protect the fact that preferences change and they're offering a bespoke service. They can only use this specific logo on you and your business. They can't then take it and use it on someone else. The third lesson that we learned is that you need to understand your feedback mechanisms and understand the type of information you're trying to extract from those feedback mechanisms. For example, with us, we just asked her, how was your session? I said my legs feel sore and they're even feeling more toned. So for us, we felt like we were doing really well because the keywords were linking. The words she used when she said she wanted to train with us, which were she wants to be slimmer, she wants to be more toned, matched with the feedback that she gave us. But, in hindsight, she probably wasn't happy, which is why she never returned. So we needed to make sure that we're asking her, 1, is this training program working for you? Are there any changes that you want to make? Again, these are the types of questions you need to ask if you're offering a bespoke service. The feedback that you obtain with other types of businesses changes depending on what you're offering. So that's it for my failed venture story. I have many more in store and I'll definitely be sharing them with you, as time goes by. But for today, please when you like, comment, share and subscribe to this channel. I can't wait to see you later. Bye.